Life 2090 is a Shadowrun OSR OGL thing, and I mean a fairly budget Shadowrun at that, with a lot of the unique charms sandblasted off to make way for more D20s. I'll say this now, you've already made up your mind regarding what you think about this game in that sentence, but I'll give a brief rundown. 95% of the checks are going to be D20, either roll under for attribute checks or roll over for skill and luck checks. I will not lie when I say that's most of the damn game. Now, there are 9 classes, from Brawler, who hits things, to Exarch, who hits things with magic and is an adept, to Gunhand, who shoots people with guns, and of course, how can we forget the Vex, who is a rigger but somehow weirder. Races are fairly odd, but that's mostly due to the lore being complete fucking nonsense. But outside of that, combat is fast and deadly, and most of the characters only having 10 to 14 HP to start off with and not getting much more. While most of the rest of the game is boiled down to use power from class or make a check. It's a simple OGL OSR game with luck metacurrency, attributes thingy, and of course a literal pool of rerolls, topping it all off with a unique feature at level 3 which boils down to a special ability outside of your own class features. Out of anything, the exploits in combat are one of the few unique ideas, mostly by giving players a little bit more authority over what's going on in combat, but that too is just a luck check and pretty much just stunts. Streamlined is the word I'd use. Streamlined mechanics, streamlined gear, streamlined magic, streamlined hacking, and streamlined everything else, and it's not a bad thing, but it doesn't really have any unique bone in its body outside of its premise, which it just mugged Shadowrun for. Pick it up if you're interested in OSR OGL Shadowrun, but if you want anything grander, then it'll leave something to be desired. Chrome is a tabletop role-playing game, and it is Mothership, and free if you sign up for the role VTT. What do I mean that it is Mothership, though? I mean it's a D100 system with all the sparkling innovation of not being able to use it as a goddamn PDF and navigating a bunch of web pages. You'll choose your background and loadout for a whopping 16 whole combinations to play with, but in truth of the matter is, as you can see right here, it takes a grand total of 5 seconds to actually get a character up and running in any remote capacity. Your background is going to be the crux of things, however, as it gives you your death presence, as you're going to probably die violently fighting interstellar nightmare internet demons. This Casper the Neon Ghost moment gives dead players something to do between sitting around and dying. As one of the skills being combat skill, combat isn't the most intense thing in the world, but it is very deadly, though with fixed saves it isn't actually exciting either. Can't really say much more than that. Most of the game is also a streamlined experience, refined to such a point where the most interesting parts of it are the reasons for its creation and lack of options it actually provides you. It's a free thing to get you to try out roll, and it really shows. The oldest of these games, coming in at 1998, Zaibatsu has you take the role of augmented wage slave shadowrunners getting paid by the corpse to do a mixture of dirty work, 9-to-5 labor, and corporate espionage. It's also one of the simplest here as well. At its absolute core, you're going to choose a background with a skill, then you're going to choose 5 skills of your choice. Roll 2d6, and if you're untrained, roll under a 5. But if you are trained, roll under a 7. Congrats, you've done it. You can now Zaibatsu 2nd edition. Most of the game is actually trying to get you in the mindset of this world of 1998's 2030, one of the sleek technology and large multinational corporations vying for power in the shadows, and overall it does a really good job of that. I found myself combing through every aspect of the lore and getting more invested in the basic ABCs than anything. But what about combat? Without any attributes and only skills, so combat has to be pretty simple, right? And oh boy, it is. The game uses a very similar system of the 5-7 above, but there's a catch. It's melee gunfire movement. So punching someone in the face before they can draw a gun or popping a punk before he can run is both valid and mandatory in this system. These turns are also simultaneous, leading to rather nasty mutual kill situations, as damage is expressed in only a few d6s, but rather than HP going down, you're going to be rolling on this table here. A budget handgun can pretty easily bring an unprepared agent down into the dying state, and most will at least wound, but burst can and will bring down anybody if they're not prepared. Combat demands a certain finesse of cover, ambushes, and running like hell when there's a problem. Zaibatsu is simple but digestible game, unlike the previous two where I think the streamlining hurts a little bit by either being too generic or boring setting and system-wise. Zaibatsu has enough going on in its setting, enhancements, and world to get past a rather simple system. It's a good side game to play between between big ones or cannibalizing it for parts for your own. But if you want a more updated system, there's a full version for the Cepheus engine, which may be a little bit more modern and heavy for those looking to explore this world deeper. My name is Notepad, and this was Rapidfire number 11. If you like what I do here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Many thanks to the executives for continuing to support this content. Godspeed, good luck, and never cut a deal with a dragon.